Hello, thank you once again and welcome to my channel. Um, in this video, we are going to continue from the small code that we wrote in the previous video. So if you haven't seen it, I would want to refer you to the video. You can find the link in the description side of this channel or of this video. So if you probably can understand what this code does. So basically, this code is only used to kind of fetch AMI ID from AWS. So that's what it does. And my intention with this video is that we improve on this. We are going to write more code to be able to create an instance in AWS. And the instance we are going to create, we are going to also write some code to kind of create some security groups that we can use. Creating security group for the instance that we are going to create so that we will be able to access the instance. Another thing we are going to do is to also make it our code. We are going to make it in such a way that it that we can connect to the instance using uh, we are going to be able to remote to the instance, for instance. So we are going to also add for 22, for example, for to be able to SSH into the device. So let's proceed. In order to do this, we are going to need additional files. So we are going to separate our codes in different files. So in order to be able to manage it easily. So the first file that I want us to create is the provider. So what we are going to do now is we are going to start by first of all creating a provider. So in order to do that, so you might want to, I will direct you to go to this link, registry.terraform.io, browse providers. So here you can find different providers. So here you can choose which one you want to work with. So in our own case, we are going to work using AWS. So what you just do is you click there and then go on documentation. So from here, you can find all the things that you need to create or to write your code. So what I want us to start with is to create a provider for ours. So usually what you need to do is you search for what you are looking for here. For example, let's say you want to create a security group, for example. You could just search here security group, for instance. So from here, you can find a security group. Wait, let's see what, let me show you. Let's search for security group. So as you can see, under VPC resources, you just open this. You are going to find the template for the creation of security groups. As you can see, oh, this is for the for security group. Let me find the one I want us to use. Let's see. Right. So this is the one I want us to use. So we are going to use this, but first of all, let us create our provider. So for the provider, let us go back here. So the provider we are going to use is that one. So we first of all, let's copy this and let me go back to let's go back there and I'm going to create a new file here. So, oh no, I'm going to create a new file and this file we are going to call it provider.tf. So let's paste it there. So for me, what I'm using is my region is US East 1. So in the previous video, we have already shown how to find the region. So you can choose what region you want. So this will be one of our files. So let's go on and create also a security group. So we're going to create a security group. So let's call it a security group. .tf. So that's what we're going to use. Let's go back here. So we already have a security group here. So let us copy this and then modify it to our liking. So let's copy this and go back to Visual Studio and paste it here. What we need to do here, like I said, we're going to modify this, and I hope this is big enough. Maybe let me increase the text. Let's go there, and let's see. Let me search for fonts. Fonts. Let's go maybe 16. So it's bigger now. So what we are going to do here is as you can see, there are already some security groups that are mapped here. So as you can see, so this is AWS VPC security group Ingress. So which means that this is for to accessing access the instance, for example, from external sources, for instance. So this here is for IP version 4. There is also one for IP version 6. So they are both ingress. So this is to remote to kind of connect to the instance that we are going to create. There are also egress, which means like to kind of connect to go from our instances to the to outside world, to the internet. So for the egress, there is also IP version 4 and there is IP version 6. What we are going to also add is the one to be able to remote to our uh, to the instance using SSH. So before we do that, let us first of all do some cleanup here. For our cleanup, what we need to do is, because I want this to be created under the default VPC. So this is if you are also creating a VPC, so you are going to use this. But because we are not creating a new VPC, instead we are inserting our instance to default VPC. So what we need to do, we are going to remove this. We're going to remove it. Then we can give our security group a name. So for me, let me just call my security group. Let me call it security group. So the name, you can choose whatever you want here. Then the description, you can write whatever you want here. So for me, I'm just going to leave these things the way they are in order not to take a lot of time. So what I'm going to do now is to copy the name of my security group. Let me change the tag. I will just call it the same. Let me give it the same name as my security group. And so here is the ingress for IPv4. Because we are creating this again, under the default VPC, we are going to remove this. We are going to remove this. Or rather, we are not going to remove it. Instead, we are going to add our IP address there, which we want to use to. We are going to add our own IP address there instead. So what we need to do now, I'm going to rename this because if you understand how this goes, so this security group is this, then the name of our security group, because we changed the name here, so I'm going to also change it here. So I'm going to change this, also change it here. I'm going to change it here and also change it here. And now the next thing we need to do is to add our own IP address. And what we're going to do here is, let's see. So we're going to remove, like I already started, we're going to remove this and add our own IP address. So let me just type this and then we are going to discuss it further. So let's say 0.0.0.0.0/0. So this means that we are allowing all IP addresses, which is dangerous in a production environment. Because in production environment, you will need to specify the exact IP addresses that you want to use. But because we are using this for learning purposes, let us just allow all IP addresses. So what I'm going to do, we are under Ingress IP. So let me just copy this and also paste it in, okay, our egress already has the same. So let us leave it the way it is. So what we are allowing here is port 443. So let me say, let me just say, which is HTTPS, right? So we are allowing HTTPS. So let us allow HTTP, which is port 80. So let me just replicate this. And so let me call this HTTP. Then the IP address, we are allowing all IP addresses as well. So we are allowing port 80, port 80. So this is from port 80 to port 80, and the protocol is TCP. So is this one, right? So we are allowing both HTTP and HTTPS. We are going to do the same thing here. So under the IPv6, for instance, we are going to copy this. We are allowing all IP addresses. So let us remove this and add it there. So this is also for 443. We are allowing HTTP, HTTPS, HTTPS, and let's see, we are allowing HTTPS. And what we could also do is, let's see, we already allowed for this is this, and let's see. So we could just let's see, and here we also have this one. This one is also egress, right? So what I want us to also do is to just copy this. Let me copy this HTTP and paste it right below. And so we are going to use this to connect to SSH to our instance. So let's call this one SSH. So the port is going to be 22 and 22. So from 22 until 22. So that is what we need for our as our security group. So I hope this is clear enough, and I hope there is no mistake somewhere. I hope we don't have nothing is missing. So also I want to point out that as you can see here we have this IP protocol. This means as it's written here. So this is like we are allowing all ports here. That's what this means. So the same is applicable here. We are allowing all ports and all IP addresses again. This is quite not the way it should work. We should be very specific with what ports and IP addresses that we want, except this is what you really need. But we are going to work with this. So I hope let me just make sure that everything is clear. And let's save this. The next thing we are going to do is to create our instance. So let's create another file. So what are we? Let's call this EC2 instance. I just like to make it easier to read. So this TF. So we're going to create our instance. So for our instance, what we need to do, I believe I already have somewhere. Let's see, instance. So once you search for the instance, so what we need to do here, let us just copy this, the resource, AWS instance. Let's copy this and go back to our Visual Studio and paste it there. What we need to do here, you can call this whatever you want. So for me, let me just call it web server, web server. I, Let me just change the tag to web server. And also I'm using this instance T3 micro. And so another thing we need to do is to our AMI, we are going to fetch what we already have here. So we are going to copy the name of our this name of our uh, instance ID. Let's just copy that and change it here and change it here. So that's what we need. We are also going to add our access key. So in order to do that, what I intend for us to do is to, because in our first video, we kind of created our access key manually in the AWS console. But here we are going to generate it here. So what we are going to do is let me go to my terminal. Let's see what I got. So I got these files in my terminal. So what I'm going to do is SSH key oh SSS no key uh SSH-Keygene. So let us give it a name. Let me call it access key. So let's just leave it that way. So when we check our file again, we are going to see that we have access keys here. So as you can see, this is the access key, the secret one, and this is the public access key that we need to upload to AWS in order to enable us to log into the AWS. So in order to do this, let us see what our access key, the public one, let us see what it contains. So we can just check access key dot public. So this is the public one. Let's see. So let's just copy this. Just copy the entire thing. We copy so remember this is the public access key. Before we proceed, let us create another let us create another file. So this file, let us call it keeper. Let us call it keeper.tf. And what we need to do here is let us resource name, and let us call it admin key. You can call this whatever you want. And oh, something is missing. This is AWS underscore keeper. That's it. So let us give it a name. So let's say key name, and then you remember what we just generated. So you just paste it there, and then we also should have our public key. Oh, sorry. This should be like the public key. Uh, public. This should be public key. This is the public key, and the name is. Um, Let us call it key name. Let us call it also. Let us call it admin. So this is admin key. Okay. Let us see why we are getting error. Resource AWS keeper admin key public key. Okay. I hope this is. Let me make sure that I pasted the actual value. So we need this. So here we create our key pair. So we are going to now import it into our EC2 instance. So in order to do that, let's go back to our EC2 instance. So in our EC2 instance, we should have a key name, and then we give it a name. What did we call it? We called it admin key. This is admin key. The next thing we need is to import our security group. So we call it VPC, let's see, security group IDs. And so what we are going to do here is to bring in the name of our, where is our security group? So security group, then remember sec group. We are going to use it as well. So we first of all have our security group dot, yeah, that's it, and then dot id. So by the way, I said it already in the previous video, so in case it's something that you want, and I advise that you do this. As you can see that this is auto completing this for me, group, as you can see, dot id. So if you want this feature to work for you, you need to go there and look for this Harshicorp Terraform and install it. So this is very useful. So it makes it easier for us to, find what we are looking for. So after the security group, the next thing we need to do is to declare our availability zone. So you see, it's very easy to type. Availability zone is because we are under US East, US East 1A. That should be our availability zone. And the tag, we called it web server. So this is what we need here. Let's see if something is missing. I think we should have everything. If when we test it and if something is missing, we will come back and fix it. So let us see what else that we need. I believe that now we almost got everything that we needed. So the next thing we need to do is to initialize our code and create our EC2. I've logged into my AWS. As you can see, as I mentioned earlier, when you look at the where we declared our, where is it? Our instance, not that. When we where we declared our instance, as you can see, we used the US East 1A. So when you go to my when you come here, you can see US East 1A, and the region, as you can see, is US East 1. So just make sure that whatever region you choose, that it corresponds, or whatever zone, availability zone that you chose, that it corresponds to the region that you are under. So now let me go to my instances. As you can see, I haven't got any instances here, right? So let us go on and create one. So let me go back there and clear my screen. The first thing we need to do is, first of all, what I always like to do, even though this is not necessary anyway, what I like to do, for instance, sometimes I feel like my code is just all over the place. So in order to make them to align, so what I always like to do is to first of all, let's see what we've got here. So let me first of all say Terraform format. So it's going to format the codes and make it look better. So just look at my code. You see, it just reformatted everything. So I like to use this, even though it's not necessary or absolutely necessary. The next thing we can do is to initialize our code. So to do that, we can Terraform init. Oh, that was really so fast. Typically, sometimes it takes like, I don't know, 1 minute or two to do this. So we have initialized it. The next thing we need to do is to validate. Let us check what we've got. Actually, should be Terraform validate. So it's going to check our code. Okay, seems like everything is good, but we are not sure yet. So let us plan in order to see what we are trying to apply. So along this line, oh, there is an error somewhere. So let us work together and find out where it is. Validating, retrieving identity, get HTTP response, API with provider registry on provider line 2. Let us check our provider line 2. Let's go user. We have no user here. Okay, so let's quickly create admin. Let's create an access key here in order to enable us to use the terminal to log in. So just create, add whatever name you want. Let me call mine admin, and let us attach policy here. So attach policies. Let's choose administrator access. You know, I did this earlier, but I did not remember that I got it deleted. So if you don't have this anymore, you might want to create it again. So let's just go next and create user. So open that user and create access key. And let's choose command line interface. I understand. Next, you can give it description if you want. So let's just create it. So now we have access key here. After creating it, just go back to your terminal or Git bash, whatever you are using, and AWS configure. So it's going to ask us our access key. So that's my access key. I copy that and paste it there. Secret key. Now you need to keep this very securely. For me, I delete it after the tutorial, which was the reason I forgot that I deleted it earlier. So let me show it and copy that and then paste it there. It asks us for our default region. My region is US East 1. Just it's asking us the output format. So that's it. So what we are going to do now is to go back and reinitialize our code. Before I do that, let me just quickly check this to make sure nothing is there under instances. So let me reinitialize it. To do that, what I need to do is obviously the same thing we've been doing, Terraform init. And let us validate. And let us plan. So that's where we always run into trouble. Wow, finally. So as you can see, this is showing us all the resources, all the things that will be implemented, as you can see. So it says Terraform will perform the following actions. So it's showing us the AMI ID that it's going to use. And then it's going to apply all of these things. As you can see, the plus means it's going to apply these things, right? So these are the things it's going to apply. So we have our AWS Keeper, we have our security group, we have our Egress and Ingress, um, what do you call security groups. And so these are the things that are going to be applied. So now it's asking us, let's see. Okay, so there are 9 items that are going to be applied, no changes to be made, nothing to be destroyed. So now let us do apply. So it's going to apply all these things that it showed us here now. So, okay, do you want to, so let us go yes. So this is not going to take that much of a time. Very shortly is going to complete. Apply complete. 9 resources have been added. There's no changes made, nothing destroyed. And so let us go back to AWS. So let us refresh our AWS. So finally, we've been able to provision our EC2, as you can see. So let us see some of the things it contains. Let's see. Let me move this up. So as you can see, the instance ID and all other pieces of information related to this. So that's the private IP, and this is the public IP that we could use to connect. And let's see. So let's see. So here are the security groups. So it has these inbound security groups, as you can see. And what we are going to try, let us see if we can remote to the EC2. So to do that, let us quickly let us quickly do this. And so let's see. So SSH, and remember the name of our key, which is access key. I call it also access. Anyway, um, access key, and let's say typically the default ID for Ubuntu is usually Ubuntu. So at Ubuntu at, let us fetch our public IP. Let's fetch a public IP. From there, copy the public IP and paste it there. It's asking us, let's say yes. Yeah. So we are logged into the, this is the device, the EC2 that we just provisioned now. So let us see the content. Obviously, nothing should be there. There is nothing there. So in this tutorial, we've been able to provision our EC2 programmatically and created security groups. And then other things we did. So, and I apologize for the inconvenience caused when I did not remember that I had already deleted my access key, which I already created in AWS. So that's why we got the error that we got earlier. By the way, another thing I like to do after this is to destroy the resources that we created in AWS because it costs money, right? So what I'm going to do now is, let me go back to, anyway, let's say Terraform Destroy. So this is going to destroy everything that we created. So as you can see, destroyed, destroyed, destroyed. So it's asking us, do you really want to destroy? So as you can see, it's showing minus. So this minus shows that it's removing something, right? If you remember when we were applying, we were applying the resources, it was like plus plus plus, but now it's minus minus minus. So which means it's taking things away. So now it's asking us if we want to destroy. So we can just go on and say yes. And it's going to destroy the entire thing. So this typically, it won't take a lot of time to do that. And once it's destroyed, then that will be it. So as it's taking some time, maybe let me come back to you when it's completed. Okay, so it's completed. So let us see what we've got here. As you can see, let us refresh. Terminated. So we have terminated our resources. So I hope that this tutorial has been helpful to you. So if you have any comment, just add it right below and I will be happy to respond if possible. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I would like to know what you think. Thank you once again and have a nice day.